And I gotta go over to this and start streaming. There's our thing. So now I can go live. Way more complicated than it needed to be. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the March meeting. Brian is here, our illustrious secretary, Richard, our registrar, myself, kind of doing the treasury and the president thing for the moment, and John Mark, our illustrious VP. Don't know that I have anything prior to getting the February February meeting minutes. So Brian, I don't know if you've had a chance to review the minutes that John Mark put together, or if you did your own minutes or what, but where are we with that?
Actually, I didn't. I had the January minutes because I wasn't able to attend last month there. I was out
Okay,
of town and I thought I sent a message, but I guess maybe I didn't. That was my
that's okay.
bad. And I went online to go look and see. I didn't see a meeting, so I wasn't sure if we had one or not. So I didn't see it out on the YouTube or anything like that. So I wasn't sure if it was.
No, there was no recording last month when John
Oh,
Mark took
okay,
care of the meeting and I was out,
okay,
and so I think John Mark just did it live.
okay,
Um,
okay, very good.
but
But
John,
I do have
Jan,
January if you want to go over
okay,
it.
well, why don't you bring up January's meeting, and then John Mark, maybe you can bring up February's for us
Okay.
and
Let's
get
see
those taken
here.
care of.
Mhm. Where's my oh, there we are.
Okay.
Excuse me. Um, okay, so yeah, here's the minutes from January. It was kind of a short and sweet meeting that we had. Um, in attendance there, we had Jim, Grant, Richard, David, Tony, Larry, Greg, Tom, and myself. We went over the minutes there, and it was approved
Mhm.
from December's minutes. For the treasurer's report, Jim gave a verbal review of our where we're at right now. We had approximately 17,000 in the bank and about 460 in checking, and so that we were feeling like we were in a pretty good position there, and that was all approved. For old business, Jim gave a reminder for the virtual Cocoa Fest that was going to be later in January. And then Grant gave us a little bit of an update with Cocoa Fest. He said that they were going to be finalizing the meal for Cocoa Fest, and he also announced that registration for tables would be beginning February 1st. And then he was also working on getting some T-shirts organized. I think he even asked if there's people had any suggestions, and then he was going to be ordering badges as well.
Okay.
For new business, uh, Jim brought up the need for a new projector that would help us doing presentations and various things at the fest there. To get a projector that would meet the requirements that we needed, it would be approximately around $1,100 for that. And he put forth a motion to approve the purchase, and it was approved by the group. And then we closed the meeting at 8:06. It was a nice short meeting.
Okay. So, any questions?
I have one correction.
Okay.
In, in the heading, it says that Vice President Jim Brain opened the meeting. I
Oh,
think.
no, thank you. I will correct that right now.
Point.
Yeah.
Nothing gets past Richard. Thanks, Richard.
Me, the nitpicker.
No.
Hey, Brian, I did send you an email. Did you see my email? We need to get all these secretary reports up onto the shared Google Drive. So, can you make sure that happens?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Because
I think I got the drive mapped at one time. I may have to
okay,
look at that again. I was working on getting that with Eric one time because it wasn't working for me, and
okay,
I'll take a look at that again. So
okay. Thank you.
OneDrive's been weird recently. Are using Google.
Okay, so a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Greg, and a second.
Second.
Rich has a second. So, all in favor?
all right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries. John Mark, maybe you can bring up the February meeting minutes. Do you have those?
Yes. Let's see, share
Here we go.
looks good.
There you go.
You see that? Okay. Members in attendance, John Mark Mobley, Christopher Hawks, Rich Bear, Tony Pedraza, Randy Weaver, David Davison, Greg Castora, Richard Crislip, and others. Vice President John Mark Mobley led the meeting. Meeting started at 7:30. Secretary's report, Brian Weasler was not available to deliver the report. No report was saved in the Google Drive. Report was tabled until next meeting. Treasurer's report, Jim Rain was not available to deliver the report. Report was tabled until next meeting. Committee director update, Cocoa Fest 2024. I guess 2025 that should be. I guess I need to change that. 2025. Randy Weaver, Cocoa Fest tables are going fast. Get yours now. Tandy list, John Mark Mobley said he has decoded most of Bob Swoger's key field codes. Old business, continuing discussion regarding contributing financially or otherwise to ongoing free software projects like Pive DriveWire and such. What should the club or individuals be supporting right now? No one had any suggestions. Coding contest and hardware contest for Tierra Sadie computers, Tandy computers. It's a big list of computers.
Mm-hmm.
John Mark and Grant B are working on this. Both John Mark Mobley and Grant B are struggling with life issues, but they are steadily plodding along on this. Grant B is looking to promote the contest on various forums. Tandy Retro Show, the show was a good show. The videos are online, and I give a link to the shows. Oh, good. New business. Rich Bear talked about the need for auction financial trackers, record keepers. We may need software volunteer suggestions for auction financial trackers, record keepers, Rich Bear and Tom Chafis. Software, Rich Bear, Coco Software, Tony Pedraza Spreadsheet, Randy Weaver, Actura.com, AUCTRIA.com. Have a software challenge for auction software. David Dennison said we need 2 or more people to track the auction. David Dennison, he wrote, it sounds like it wouldn't hurt to have a team of 2 recorders.
I don't think we need to read the whole thing. We can probably read it there.
Okay. Rich Bear talked about the state of the club and asked who should be put down as treasurer. Oh, the state form for the club should be put down as treasurer. Can we put down Eric Canales as acting treasurer on the state form? No decision was made. Motion to close the meeting by Greg Castora and second by Richard Crislip. Motion carried. Meeting ended at 8:30 p.m. by John Mark Mobley.
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
Just a comment that my response there was just in response to Richard's concern about, he was mentioning issues about stability with some of the platforms that were being used to,
Yeah.
manage the event. And so I said, if you're worried about it, just get two people.
Right. Well, good point. Rich, you had something?
Tom Shefgus' name isn't spelled right. It's Schaeefges. Just in case we need to look him up on some list.
Okay. Where is that at?
I think you just passed it.
Oh,
Right here. S what?
Oh, there it is. He found it.
what is it?
SC
SC.
H. We have the H already. And then AE. And then FGES.
Okay.
Got it. Cool.
How do you save this crazy thing? Does it save automatically?
Pretty much the way
Yep.
you phonetically spelled it, Shefkus.
Yeah, it saves automatically.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Greg again. Second.
I'll second again.
All right. Well, we got same there. But we already asked for questions or concerns. I didn't see any. So motion or all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, well, I do have, so I saw in that report, like, who should we put down for the treasurer? I guess my question to you, Rich, is it a problem to put my name down as acting treasurer, or is that a problem?
My answer is we don't need to decide yet. I
Okay,
haven't even received the form from the state yet. I think it comes in mid-March,
okay.
so we're already there, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, okay, well,
Uh,
that's fine.
But I am a little worried about anything unusual about the treasurer because I think that's really the hell the state cares about most
Hmm.
is the treasurer. They went through all those steps saying we had to make sure our constitution had um, had precautions in case the club dissolved itself.
Right.
And they're worried about where does the money go in that case. And if we have some sort of a temporary name for treasurer, that might not go along well with the state. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess you could just put my name on there. So I guess think about it because I did finally get, Eric had asked if he could have time to get all of the 2024 transactions into the system because he hadn't gotten that completed prior to the end of his uh, tenure. So I said, yeah, but I need to get into this system so I can start learning and whatnot. So I have just recently gotten, like access to everything, and the treasurer, email address and everything is switched over to myself. So I'm not saying I'm fully up to speed on the treasurer reports and everything, although I'll show you what I got tonight. But I'm planning to take on the responsibility until such time. I've got a couple feelers out from folks, seeing if they're interested. And so we may have something, but I'm not sure I'm going to have something before April 15th. So um, um, anyway, so if we just put my name and not acting, but just treasurer there, if you see that that's reasonable, then you can do that. Otherwise, I guess we'll keep talking about it until we have to file this document.
Yeah, the deadline I don't believe is April 15th. That's
Oh,
for
it
the
isn't?
Fed.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
When I get the slip, I'll be able to tell you when the deadline is, but I think it's more likely sometime in June.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and share. Let me share the treasurer's report. So let me get that up here. So I got two of them here. So give me a second. Okay. So here is treasurer's report. Let me figure out how to share this. So I'm just sharing the report. Hello, here we go.
That's highly suspicious. You have
Uh,
two reports. Are there two sets of books as well?
Ah, cute. I have a January report and a February report.
Oh, okay.
No, that's okay. Let's see. I think it is this one. So, um, let me know if everybody can see. Well, it doesn't
Nothing
look
yet.
like it's sharing anything. Okay, what about now?
Blank screen.
You see anything
Hey,
now?
There it
Yep.
is.
Okay.
Intuit, QuickBooks.
Okay. Yep. January. So as of the end of January 31st, 2025. So I'll just kind of go through this really quick. We did have some PayPal transactions. Obviously, um, those are you can see them in there. Let's see, this is January 31st. So we did have some PayPal activity. I can go in and look at specifically what those are if folks have questions. They don't look like they are for the show because there's too small of amounts: 14, 21, 539, $15, and so forth. Um, the big item that was a draw in January is that on the 21st, after our January meeting, we approved the purchase of a projector, and so we had a transfer of $800 to purchase the projector that goes into a special Cocoa Fest fund. So that took it out of the general treasury. And then the other items here, if you see here, these items right here are duplicated here. These are from the PayPal environment, but we have PayPal set to automatically transfer funds into our main checking account or main account, bank account. And you see those down here. The main one that was a true expense for the month of January was $15.70, which was for website and hosting. And then, like I said, these small transactions from PayPal, but primarily this large transfer, which is still, I mean, in January it was still sitting in our overall accounts, but was earmarked for Cocoa Fest of $800, which was part of the conversation there. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day of end of January, we had $17,751.81 in our collective bank accounts. So any questions?
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
I thought this all the time Eric was doing the treasurer's job, that he was making it too complicated and too difficult.
I
And I think you're still doing that, Jim, that none of us will remember anything except the 17,000 out of everything you told us.
yep. No, I'm
But
I'm
that's the
trying.
most important one.
um, I am trying to come up with a report in QuickBooks. I like the way that QuickBooks allows us to earmark funds for different things, so that, like, because some people want to know, well, how much money did we receive for Cocoa Fest and whatnot, which is a report that you can generate. But a lot of this kind of puts and takes right here doesn't really add any value to the discussion, because it's just moving from one bucket to another. So they do have a way of creating custom reports, and since I now have access to all the environment, and I just need to see how to do a custom report. Because you're right, what we used to do was, and I thought about doing it again. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, here we go. So I was working on something like this. I'm going to have to stop the sharing real quick, and I will share again. Give me 1 second. So we used to do kind of this type of share, and see if this is it. I think it is. So when Brian Goers was doing the treasurer, when he was the treasurer. This is kind of what we did, where we just showed, generally speaking, we had PayPal payments. Microsoft Office was some money taken out, and so forth. This is from 2021. I was thinking about creating a report that looked more like this, where we could just see the money. So we started in 2021, for instance, we started the month with I guess this was 10, it was October 2021. We started the month at $14,084 and we ended the month at $14,450. I thought this was a little bit easier to digest. So my goal is to get to something more like this. And then if people want to know like how much of this money is CocoFest money for a particular year, then that's a report we can generate through the rest of the tool. So in any event, I agree with you. I think I think there's a lot of power in Quicken or QuickBooks, but it needs to be a little easier for these reports because we really don't care about all of the puts and takes and everything. We mainly are wanting to know how much money came in, if anything went out, like what did it go for in general. So we make sure that only expenditures that were like that make sense to us are happening on the account.
I
Anyway,
think
that is, huh?
that would be categories that would be more meaningful to me would be how much of this was dues renewal, how much of this was tables for the fest and things like that.
Okay.
Just the totals, not the individual ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Good point. Good point.
that gives you more of an idea of how the club is doing than to see all these details.
Nope, that's fair. That's fair. I'm tuning, so it's good feedback. Um, it's very good feedback, and I will work to figure out a way to give that maybe less detailed, more actionable report going forward. So, but like I said, I think, and somebody mentioned the big news and the big takeaway is we have $17,751 as of the end of January. Had that much money at the end of January, and then and there was some PayPal introductions, and just one expense, which was the website expense. So it's pretty minor transactional activity in January, and I don't think any of it was renewals, because the numbers were, well, the $15 was renewals, but it wasn't any table purchases and whatnot, because those numbers would have been larger. They're more than $15.
The renewal was me.
Oh, it was okay. Well, there you go.
So I know for a fact $15 the PayPal transaction was for
Yep.
renewal.
Got it.
You're $10 short. It should be 25 for you there. Sorry.
Oh,
No,
why? Because I'm in Tennessee?
did
Come
pay-
on.
I did pay for my table, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, I can find out. I mean, I can find that out, but it doesn't show that kind of detail here in the treasury report. I'll have to go look
Okay.
at Tandy List to do that. So it'd probably be best to ranch out to Grant, just because I'll probably forget.
Well, the other thing too is this is January. That would have been reflected on February.
Okay.
Tables
Uh,
would have been. We should see table activity on
That's true.
February,
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
right. You wouldn't have said any. That is so true. I forgot about that. We didn't open the tables until February, and so you wouldn't have seen any table purchases in January. You're right. I forgot about that. Anyway, I can bring that back up if you want, but I am I'm obviously looking for a motion to approve the treasurer's report for January and a second.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Greg, second.
I'll
I'll
second it.
second.
Okay,
I'll
I
be
think
the
I think
official
I heard
second.
I think I heard Brian first. That's okay. Although Rich, we're appreciative. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. I will quickly bring up the February report, but be aware that it's the same type of report, so you'll just have to kind of gloss over some of the detail that you don't care about. Let me get it here. Where is it? I think this is it. All right, let's get rid of this and let's bring this over here. Let's see if that comes up for everybody. It'll take a little bit of time. And
on a blank.
There,
There we go.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Well, it said
Yeah,
Zoomers.
now.
You did you get it? Okay.
Yeah, it's just small.
Sorry.
I got to get close.
No, that's okay. I can make it bigger. My bad. There you go. There.
Better.
Let me get this thing out of the road here. So that, okay. Anyway, like I said, some transfers here. Now we're starting to see some so a 3811, that's essentially, so 1421 is going to be a $15 minus the PayPal fee. So there was a renewal. 3811, that's going to be a $40 table fee minus the fees. 98, that's $100. So that would have been a like a $50 times two tables or something. So that's kind of where you see that. And then you got 1598, which is of course our monthly. This is our website. You'll see this every month. um, the big one is there was an outstanding balance in PayPal that um, Eric went ahead and moved over. That's like fee. That's items that came in from the auction and whatnot. That was from back in um, April, May, whenever we the 2024 Cocoa Fest happened. That was a one-time transfer for that right there. So, and then 60, I'm not sure exactly what 60 would have been there. I can look up and see, but normally if you see these numbers like 40, 15, $100, those are the tables coming in. This may be some tables as well. I'll have to look into the detail there. But anyway, we've got some money coming in, and so we had all that item, and we did have a little bit of, because the purchase the projector got purchased in February. I think it was like $780 or something like that. So almost that full $800 went to buy the projector. So we're ending the month with $17,735.83. So essentially the table fees and the extra monies from PayPal coming in and whatnot counteracted with the purchase of the projector. Excuse me, that we'll be using for Cocoa Fest 2025. So any questions? I can run other reports if you want to see any more detail of these items. Although it is hard to tell when these PayPal transfers occur over whether they are what exactly they're for. In order to do that, we have to go to that's from Tandy List to get the specifics. Like, was it two tables? Was it a table? Whatever. Excuse me. The good news is we're still in a good position, $17,735 in the treasury. So, or sorry, $17,735 in the treasury. So still a good position to be in for the club. Much better than other clubs I've heard about.
Very good.
Okay. A motion to approve the February treasurer's report.
I like it.
Okay. Richard says yes.
Okay, I'll second.
And Greg seconds. All approve or all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I'm sorry. Who put forth the motion?
Richard.
Richard, thank you.
Richard Crislip, sorry. Not Richard Bear.
Okay.
All right, let me stop sharing there. But I agree with you, Richard. Bear, I want something that's easier. It's easier for me to understand. I want something that can quickly get me to I don't remember us approving that amount of money, so why are we spending it? That kind of question type of thing would be one I'm eager to get information on. Who we got here? We got Brian, and it does not look like we have Grant here. And we talked about Tandy Retro Show last meeting, so we don't need to kind of rehash that. Although if you watch the videos and or were at the show during when it was live, I appreciate your attendance. I do know that I just checked last night because I was kind of late on getting the meeting invite out. And in the main room, we only have 2 tables left, or at least we only had 2 tables left as of last night at midnight. So let me just make sure I'm not calling out. I'm not speaking out of turn here, but yes, we have 2 tables, two 6-foot tables left in the main hall, and we do have we have some hallway space, and we have we have a good number of tables in the overflow rooms across from the main room. But so for anybody who listens to this, or definitely those of you on the call, if you're looking for a table in the main hall, we're running out of time to grab one. And like I said, I did see the invoice. There was a bit of a snafu on the type of projector, and so we're going to make another go round of the purchase. We had to return the original one because we need what's called a short throw projector. Hopefully everybody understands what that is, but we need a short throw projector so that we don't have to put the projector out in the middle of the audience. And the one that came said that it was short throw, or at least gave indications that it was when I did the search, but it's not short enough, and so we sent it back. Randy sent it back, and they ordered another one. And I'm trying to think here which one they ordered, and I can tell you here real quick, I think. Where was it? So if you want to kind of look at what all the awesome, the awesome, I guess, information on what it is. I don't see it right here, but anyway, if somebody's interested, just email me. But I believe it's an Optima projector, and has 3,800 lumens of light output, so that should be pretty good. Even though that room that's in there has that big picture window on the one side where some light tends to come in. So hopefully it'll overwhelm the light, ambient light that's coming into the room, and make for a good projector, or make for good presentation. It's got a bunch of inputs on the side, so we should be okay from both Coco composite, as well as getting into some RGB, or not RGB, but HDMI, if we need to do Coco 3 or whatnot. Hopefully all will go well. It'll be our projector. We should also have access to the VCF Midwest projector, so we may be able to use that in another capacity. But now we have our own. So.
And I have a couple of projectors I always throw in my car, so if we ever needed something as a fallback.
Okay. Anyway, I guess any questions about Coco Fest coming up? We got 50 days, 49 days, just a little over 49 days before we get to the show. Let me just check our handy dandy calculator. 49 days, 12 hours.
I have one question, please. This is David D.
Yeah.
Yep. So I've reserved a table in the separate room, not the main room, but yeah. Yep. And I used that clever name, Minotaur Madness, right? That somebody's probably unhappy about because it takes up all the page. But I didn't. It doesn't, because I did that. It doesn't show that David Davidson's registered, and I want to make sure that I can still come.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
No, yeah. You're good.
And get a David, and still get a badge. I don't want a vendor badge. It says Minotaur Madness, mythical.
Yeah, you know what? I totally understand. So we have this incredibly optimized and refined way that we make our badges every year. And the way it's done is that I bring the printer, and I probably sit there the day before the show, and I type them in and I print them out. And I can guarantee you I am not going to type in Mega Magic Master Mythical Metatarsal Minotaur Madness Meso. Is that the end of it? Goodness gracious. Actually, I might do that just because it's funny enough, but putting that on a badge is going to cause me a migraine. So I will look this up and
Right.
say, oh, that's David Davidson. I'm going to make a David Davidson badge, and I'm going to give David
Thank you
Davidson
for
his
that.
David Davidson badge. But then because I'm probably just petty and cheeky, I'm going to also make a Mega Master Magic Mythical Metatarsal Monitor Madness Mesa badge and give it to you as well because I think it's
I
funny.
might take you up on that if you, right. If
So
you get up
yes,
the courage to do it.
it
Thank you for
end
that.
up being, you people will have to come up to you with a magnifying glass, I think, to read it, because there's only so much room on those badges. But yeah, don't worry about that. I typically do the badges like the day. I always have intentions of doing them here at home with the printer, where I'm not in a rush and everything's just fine. And sometimes I get that done, but I often don't. And so I'll print. I mean, I'm for sure going to bring the printer, because there's people that show up that day and pay and whatever, and they would like a badge as well, or we misspell somebody and we need to reprint a badge, or somebody loses their badge and they need another one or whatever. It's no big deal to bring the printer. So I will bring it and I will print out badges there at the show. So no worries, we'll get everybody covered. The only thing I
Well, thanks
probably,
for that.
no problem. The only thing I probably steer away from is having people uh, kind of, I mean, it seemed like there was one year where somebody wanted me to write kind of weird names on their badge, like, I'm the cocoa connoisseur. It was just something, they were kept coming up with different things and they wanted new badges, and I'm like, listen, this isn't like I'm your personal badge maker, kind of badge a minute type of thing, right? This is not my job. I'll print you a badge or two and then we're moving on.
You're not
So
gonna be a badge-matic?
no, I'm not a badge-matic. I was trying to think what it was where you could make your own badges, right? But in any event, we'll be good on that. But yeah, that's quite a name. But 216, we got you. Um, you're in you're in
Thank you so much.
I think you're in the second, the right hand room that's across from the main hall. So cool beans. You got some company, but I don't
Thanks
know.
again.
219 is, oh, Brian Walsh. So Brian Walsh will be in the same space with you. Anyway, I don't know that I have anything else. Grant's not here. He's out, as we all know, he's out chasing tornadoes tonight, I'm sure. So hopefully I worry about him sometimes in the spring. Tornadoes are not to be trifled with, but I'm sure he's having fun. So I'll get an additional update from him later, but I do know that mainly want to make sure the tables are done, or people get the tables that they want. And he also wanted to make sure that the speaker what do I want to say, the presentation schedule, he wanted to start getting that fleshed out, which it's coming along nicely. Oh, and one other thing, we talked about it before the show, or before our business meeting started, but Grant has asked this year that we make table tents for the various exhibitors and whatever. And that might be a place, David, that we could put that big long thing that I'm not going to say it again. But David had a good idea, which is to potentially put some stickers on the table tents to indicate whether people are exhibiting, or whether they're selling or whatnot, because it's not always clear on a table whether people are just showing stuff off or whether they're actually selling the items on the table. And so that just came up tonight, and that sounds like a good idea. We'll try and figure out how to do that. But we are going to get table tents, so we'll have everybody have a little official thing sitting at their table, and you'll know where you're sitting when you get there, and then hopefully, if we figure this item out about sales and exhibits and whatnot, we'll have a way of signifying on the table tent what you're offering. So other than that, I'm not aware of any updates for CocoFest. So
Did Grant finalize the menu? I didn't know if that was announced at all, or.
I have not seen an announcement, but I will. Let me write myself a note, and I will have him post on the website and Facebook where he is on that. So I should have asked him beforehand, but I didn't even, until I started talking about CocoFest, I completely forgot about what the status was on the or asking about the status for the meal. So let me check on that. So any
Okay.
questions that folks? Any other
Yeah.
questions? Yeah.
Who'd you say I needed to talk to about my status of my table? And I also need to know, because I got confused when I was filling out the form,
hmm
I'm going to have a marital problem if my little bride's not going to get a dinner.
Oh yeah. You are going to be in a real. You're going to be in a real world of hurt, right? Grant would be the one. Send an email to cocofest at glensideccc.com, and
Mhm.
Grant can help you sort that out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No problem. Okay. So talked about Fest. I don't think we have any there. I don't think there's any other old business to continue on. Well, I guess the question I have is, I know um, we had a directors meeting last month, and we did talk about, Rich, your concern that you brought up at the last meeting around, how to make sure there's help for the auction to make sure that runs very smoothly. Um, I don't, I mean, we started looking at some tooling and seeing if we could, utilize some tooling or whatnot. The problem I ran into when looking at some of the software solutions is that a lot of the solutions that I saw were more for like, um, if you want to accept bids both in person and online at the same time, kind of like a little eBay type of thing where you're doing both in person and electronic bidding. That's not really what I mean, that's not really our focus. Our focus is just making sure that we're recording everything that gets sold, and we know, if it's this bidder, then here's all the stuff that they have. So we talked about it. We've been doing some research. I don't know that I have an answer for you as yet. But I did I do want to make sure that, and I talked to like Randy, and I think I talked to somebody else about making sure that we had plenty of help, at least manual help during the auction, to make sure that, like, things are getting recorded, um, and the bidder numbers are getting handed out quickly to people who are bidding or winning or whatever. Yeah, bidding, I guess. Um, and so that part, we have the hands. I guess we have the hands, the hands-on uh, staffing that we need to do that. So I don't know that I have much more on that, but I'm happy to entertain more discussion on that if folks have something new to add. Yeah, Rich.
I would like to add one more thing. I think for the past 2 or 3 years, the auction is concluded right before the dinner, which is fine for some people, but all the people who have to settle up and the people behind the counter there doing the settling up end up being late for dinner. And I was afraid I wasn't going to get to eat out that dinner that I paid for.
That is a very, I remember that from last year. I mean, I know it's happened more than once, but that's a really good point. Since I'm going to talk to Grant about the meal, I'm going to talk to him about the auction settling up, and then how do we, you know, not have it eat into the dinner time? Because you're right. I mean, when you're done with the auction, you really would like to just go eat your dinner if that's the next thing on the agenda, because then it's hot and enjoy it, and then, but you also have, excuse me, you also have people that aren't participating in the dinner, and they want to settle up and they want to go do whatever they're going to go do because they may not be back, or that was the last thing they were going to do or whatever. So I don't know the answer to that, but I will ask Grant what his plan is for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
with two full days, we're going to have a lot more time. We can probably space things out a little bit more too.
That's true. That's true. I forget if the schedule is that the auction is on Friday and Saturday or just Saturday.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I'll find out on that. It's time we get the schedule out so people can start planning anyway. So um, I will take that as an action item. That sounds very enterprise-ish, doesn't it? I've been in IT way too long. Okay. Any other old business? No, no more new. Any new business? I do not have anything. Fest is kind of all-encompassing right now. I don't want to add anything to people's plates. So should be a good show. sorry, Greg, that it doesn't appear like you're going to be able to make it in person, but we'll think about you while we're buying. We'll buy all the MPIs, so you can't have one.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
Well,
That's okay. I just found one on eBay. So
yeah. Any new business? Any folks have anything new they want to bring up? Okay. Okay. Well, going, gone. So I would love to entertain a motion to end the March meeting.
motion.
Okay, I hear Greg and I see Richard Crislip, but can I get a second from you? Okay, I got a second from Richard. Any opposed? Okay, well, I will. I'll be honest. I kind of like giving John Mark a chance to host meetings. I feel kind of bad for the VP not being able to kind of take the big chair every once in a while. So if John Mark is amenable to that, I may suggest that we alternate. And even if I'm going to be there, maybe have him run a meeting and then I run a meeting or whatnot. So, but one or the other of us will take care of the April meeting, which will be right before the show. So we'll take care of any last minute stuff there. Otherwise, I will see you all in April.
Hey, Craig, what's that wonderful display behind you?
Oh, that's a fake screen. That's the screen